Good afternoon, everyone. Joan Rogers here again to teach you June Patchwork Parties Cut Loose Press Pattern, Stars and Stripes Table Runner. Super easy, ladies. One element, flying geese. I know it's your favorite, right? But they're very big if you make them the 24 by 52 size runner. So first of all, as always, let's go through what the pattern showcases, okay? So I know on your pattern, it says the large flying geese ruler. Well, you know us, we are Studio 180 gals, and so we are using the original wing clipper. All right, so this is either doesn't have a number on it like mine because it's so old, or it would have the number 1 there. So these make units that are 1/2 inch and whole inch, okay? So that's number 1, what we used. Talks about Pellon, okay? So I used Heat and Bond Light, or we could go this way, or we could go this way. There it is, Heat and Bond Light. You know me, I'm so good with the camera. All right, so that's Heat and Bond Light, your fusible web. Okay, the next thing it's talking about is a 45mm rotary cutter. And I touched on this during our live presentation under Zoom. And I also touched on this during our Saturday Smile. So this is from Quilters Select. This was designed by Quilters Select and Alex Anderson. Okay, many people have ordered this based on my recommendation, so I'm really certain you're going to be super happy. But before you purchase this, okay, you need to know that it is a little heavy. It's weighted purposely. Watch the video from Alex and she'll explain why. But it actually has to do with your wrist, and that your wrist and hand will do less of the work and the weight of the cutter will do more. So grippies so that your fingers don't slip. The other thing is, which I really love, all you need to do is press this little button, and I'm gonna press and tap. And when you tap, the blade exposes itself. So you can cut as a righty or tap and cut as a lefty. Doesn't get any easier than that. To close the blade, all you need to do is take it and tap it, and the blade is now closed. It's a super easy change too, just like the quick change, guys. You pull down on this guy. This is actually a magnet so that your blade, when you're going to change it, doesn't fall all over the place. It'll stay there until you take it off. And then you just slide another blade on and pop that up again. Okay, so very, very, very easy. Love, love, love my Quilters Select rotary cutter. And I hope you will too. So you can order that on your page today. All right, moving on, it talks about batting. So if you're gonna use the Quilters Select Cotton Request batting that I use, the nice ultra thin, and you're going to make the 24 by 52 size, you will need a crib batting, the 46 by 60. And the reason I'm being so specific this time is batting is your special this month, so 25% off, so you just might want to order that. All right, moving on. What are we going to use to mark? So the quilt, or I could put this the right way, the Quilters Select, Quilters Magic Wand from Studio 180. Okay, so I'll be demoing how to use that. In addition, of course, Steady Betty. I used a little Shape Flex, and where did I use that? I used Shape Flex. So my fabric for my applique is white, and my runner is blue and red. So if you fuse a piece of Shape Flex, fusible interfacing, onto the back of your applique fabric, it makes it denser in color, right? So you won't have that filtering through or bleeding through of your applique. So that's where I use the Shape Flex. And basting spray, right? Or pin base, that kind of thing. One last thing I'm going to try and show you. So I also spoke about the magnifying lens, the spot on dot, which I did on Saturday as well. So this case comes with a 1-inch circle and a 2-inch circle. But can you see what it does? It magnifies. There's a 3 times magnifier in here. So when you just adhere these on simply by pressing, okay, if they get a little unsticky, you just wash them in sudsy water and dry, okay? But let me see. Oh, there you go. So see how it magnifies? So if you are, these work really good on 1/8-inch rulers too, when the lines are a little busy, or some of you even have rulers that are a little busy. So if you pop one of these guys on, you should be able to locate what you need to cut very easily. So these are on your page as well today. All right, that's enough of the product. So to talk about what we're making, okay? The runner, we do have a fabric kit. It is made for the 24 by 52 size. So if you're going to opt to not do 4 by 8 finished rectangles, but instead 2 by 4s, you're just gonna have a little bit of extra fabric, okay? Maybe you can make an extra one in small pieces. So, all right, so the yardage according to the pattern is fine if you are going to use your fabric from home. The thing of it is they use, as you can readily see, a blue and a red for the center. Their border is a different blue and it goes all the way around. I chose to use the same 2 fabrics that are in my Flying Geese. So my blue and my red are my geese units. The long strips are my blue borders, and the shorter end strips I chose red. And then the binding is red, okay? So that will be the slight difference in your kit, okay? And maybe I should take a picture of this and send it to you, okay? So that you can know. But long borders are blue, short borders are red. So that's what you're going to have fabric to do. All right, the construction of our project. Very, very, very easy. I am going to show you the Flying Geese wing clipper way. Now inside Helen Step It Up, very nicely, she made a little chart of cutting instructions so you don't have to follow the cut loose press pattern here for the Flying Geese. You can use the instructions in the Step It Up. There's a portion for 4 by 8 finished and a portion for 2 by 4 finished. So my square, and it gives you all the numbers too, okay? So I'm just going to go over the piecing and actual making of the Flying Geese units. So you have, in this instance, 1 9.5-inch square of blue. You're going to, and for every 4 Flying Geese units, 1 large square, 4 smaller squares. In this instance, 9.5 and 5. Okay, so you're going to place 1 of the squares in the bottom right corner, and you're going to expose a tiny bit of the larger square. So you can kind of see blue under there, somewhere between around 1/16 of an inch, okay? But just eyeball it. Next, you're gonna take in the opposite corner the other square, right? And now you're going to draw lines. So this is not quite long enough. Oops. Okay, so what I did was I took the middle, so on your quilter's wand, there's an etching. The etching will go diagonally through each of the blocks. Okay, so I start in the corner here, and I slide down to here, and then when I'm done drawing down into this bottom square a little bit. I just slid the quilter's wand down, okay? So all you're going to do is draw and draw on both sides of the line, which is what? It's giving you a stitching line, okay? So here we go. I have drawn and I have stitched. So my darker thread is stitching. Now, my drawn line is there, and my stitching line is ever so slightly to the inside of that drawn line. And we've talked about this before. The width of the line, your pencil line can take up space. So I always, to create a scant 1/4 inch, I just slide right inside that drawn line, okay? So we're going to stitch on both lines going all the way through the block. And then we're going to cut apart. And when you cut apart, oh, I can cut apart because I'm only doing this once. When you cut apart, it will create obviously 2 halves, and these are becoming, need a new blade? I just might. Been doing a little homework. Okay. So then we are going to press, right? So there's 1/2 and we're going to press, and you can see how that is going to become 2 more flying geese. And then we're going to take and press this, and we're going to press out, right? So now you have 2 halves and you have 2 squares remaining. So once we press, you are going to take one of the 2 remaining squares, bring it in about a 1/16 of an inch off of the blue in this case, but the larger square. You're going to draw lines. You're going to sew just to the inside of those lines and cut apart. And when you cut apart, we are going to have geese. So you have done that on one piece, and you've done it on another piece. So when you're done, there are your 4 flying geese units. All right, I'm disappearing for a second, right? And I'm just gonna give this a little press. So I'm gonna take, and so I can create this geese unit for you, and we will trim it up. Okay. All right, so if you are right-handed, your block is going to lay horizontally, and you are going to locate the 4.5 inch line across the top of the ruler, and that is going to give you a cut 4.5 by 8.5 to finish at 4 by 8. So this little intersection right there is going to lay right in that intersection where our red and blue meet. Okay, and we're going to trim and trim. Okay. And I know all you Tucker ladies, you're like experts on this by now. All right, so we're going to trim. I didn't have lunch yet, so I must need sustenance. Okay, so we're going to trim and trim. We're going to take this the opposite way. We're going to lay, there we go. So we're going to lay the opposite corner, the opposite end of the ruler where it comes to a V, and my 2 lines are already trimmed, right? So I've trimmed here for the 8.5 and here for the 4.5. Okay, and we're going to cut slant cut. And now we have a finished, uncut, or no, it's not finished. It's an unfinished 4.5 by 8.5 rectangle. Just real quick, I'm gonna press this and I'm just gonna show you the positioning because this is pretty awesome for all of us lefties, right? So if you're a lefty and you are going to cut or size down your flying geese unit, you're going to lay your piece vertically and you're gonna find that 4.5 again, and right there, that guy right there is going to go right in there. And now when we line up, we trim this way and this way, flip it the opposite way and trim the opposite side. So it's kind of awesome. It's in her instructions as well. So remember, we have flying geese units if you are a holdout and you haven't purchased a flying geese or a wing clipper yet, okay? So what are you doing here? You are making multiples of this. And now I am going to, the blue is, when the blue is in the center, you're making 12 of these guys. And then you're gonna make the exact opposite and you're gonna make other units using the 9.5 and the 5-inch squares, and you're going to make other flying geese units that have the red in the center. And there you go, right? So these, you're gonna make 18 of these and 12 of these. And that is honestly, ladies, your entire runner. So let me just show you how this is going to get built, right? So what I did was I masking taped off. If you look at your pattern right here, you are building your geese in columns. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have a red center, a blue, a red center, a blue, and a red. Okay? And then what's going to happen for the next row is you're going to work with the same colors, but they get flipped in the opposite direction. So now your red is up on top versus down below. So you're going to have red, blue, red, blue, red. So the arrows or the geese flying are going to be changing direction, okay? So there is a blue unit, and here is a red unit. So it's a little tricky to tell on the pattern, and that's kind of why I'm going over it a little bit. You are building 6 columns, alternating red, blue, red, blue, red, okay? All right, once those columns are together, you join the columns. And once the columns are joined together, you're gonna do border. Now remember, if you choose to do it my way, I put the long borders on first, which were blue, and then I did the short borders, which were red, okay? And then my binding is red. So doesn't really get too much easier than this. As far as the applique, I think I kind of explained that, but we'll go over that one more time. One of the things that I did was fuse a piece of Shape Flex to the back side, the wrong side of my white star fabric. So it gives it a little more depth. And now, after tracing my stars, now this can get fused to the Shape Flex and then physically cut out in the star shape. And then that gets treated like anything else and it gets appliqued down, okay? You can use the stitch of your choice. All right, so after that, you're going to simply layer. I will say that this is my backing fabric, so that is online. That is Mackinac Island, the dot. So if you are going to get this you would one piece off the back, 1 yard and 5/8, because 1.5 yards is only 54 and your runner's 52. So be a little mindful of that. So 1 yard and 5/8, and you will use about 30 inches, 29 inches of width. Okay? So I hope that clarifies everything for you. This was a super fun project. I hope you enjoy making it. Remember, your challenge is to take 30 flying geese units, any of the sizes that you want that the ruler will make, but obviously Helen's were 2x4, mine was 4x8 finished. Okay, take those. You can make the runners, or you can make a topper of your choice and change up the colors as well. We look forward to seeing all the challenges in July. Thank you, everyone. Bye.